Yeah, this is kind of a fancier Blue Devotion deck. He's touching red for 3 copies of Perforos and 4 copies of Magma Jet in his main deck, along with no sideboard cards, but he is playing 4 Steam Vents and an Is It Guildgate, and he can generate red mana off of Nykthos and Frostburn Weird to generate red mana. So, looks at Tom Slotzky's here looking at a hand of Frostburn Weird, Thassa, Magma Jet, Steam Vents, and Island.
Now, here's an interesting question. I know you are a red mage. I'm sure you've cast this card from time to time over your career. Magma Jet. This thing gets reprinted. People are happy. It's Magma Jet. I remember Magma Jet from 5th Dawn during... that card saw a ton of play. Doesn't seem like any play now.
I think there's a reasonable chance that it is the most overrated tournament level card of all time. It gets played. It is beloved and played in decks where it has no place getting played. I think I like it a lot in decks like burn decks that are trying to just have a saturation of burn and always find action. I think it can be okay there. I think it's actually good for control decks if it's likely to kill things that are prevalent in the format. But people play it in these red, 20 pop and 20 bolt style decks. And I think it is just awful in those decks. So that's my opinion on Magma Jet.
All right, say it loud, say it proud, Magma Jet. As Ultimate Price is going to take care of Cloudfin Raptor. Steam Vent's going to come and play tapped. And going to come across here for a couple points of damage. Looks like a little surprised he's played that tapped when he could have gotten for an extra 1. So it deals 3 instead of 4 there. And obviously, every point adds up when you're playing against a Grey Merchant deck.
Yes.
Martell with a 3rd swamp, just going to pass the turn back here. So representing a bevy of removal spells. We'll see what exactly Yang wants to do on this turn.
See if he's test the water with any pumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have 1 pump. There's a Devour Flesh. So, all right, Frostburn does bite the dust. Going to gain a little bit of life off of that. And now there's an Omen Speaker. Shaheen Sarani's favorite card has arrived.
It's, you see a little pieces of Omen Speaker in some Blue Devotion decks. I've occasionally seen it as either a sideboard card or a main deck card in certain blue control decks against beatdown decks. So there's a lot of little things.
Desecration Demon does show up here for Martell. Keep in mind that land that he played was a Nykthos, but this is ideal situation here for Deso Demon. Board is pretty clear. He's done a nice job of just, holding things off, taking care of the first couple of threats, and now you can't get in the situation where you sacrifice some stuff to get the damage through for the Demon.
Tom sitting pretty here. He has to be a little bit maybe more concerned with his life total in this matchup than against a typical Blue Devotion deck.
And so now this is a Disperse, which is you're going to be used to force through a little bit of damage, but doesn't really do a ton there. And just passes the turn back. So yeah, that Disperse doesn't really accomplish very much at all.
He has to have, Yang has to have some pretty powerful follow-up here to warrant using a bounce spell like that.
Yeah. So Demon does just re-show up here for Martell.
Rapid Hybridization.
Not a bad draw off the top. So it's going to take care of the Demon, but, the Omen Speaker's not going to be able to attack.
Yeah.
And so now there's a big block in the road where if he held the Disperse, he could go Rapid Hybridization, disperse your token, and then pass the turn back, and then, be able to keep attacking. Now here's this works well enough.
That's a combo.
Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, in for 1. Going to put Martell down to 12, but Martell does have the 5 mana. And obviously, I think he's working his way towards trying to build up a large Grey Merchant. But Grey Merchant also just holds down the fort right now, too.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what Martell's going to do. He's going to cast a Grey Merchant. He's going to go up to 14. Yang's going to go down to 21. And now Yang has to work his way through this wall.
And as I was going to say before, Tom has to be a little more concerned with his life total than he does against typical Blue Devotion decks because of the presence of red cards in Yang's deck. Between Magma Jet and Perforos, Yang actually has a little more reach than these Blue Devotion decks typically do. So Tom has to be a little more conscious of this than he would typically have to be against Mono Blue. As you see, a Pack Rat from Martell.
The Fun Police is here. Enough mana to activate, and he is very, very, quietly kind of hidden as he's going to discard. As we're going to see, I think we're going to see a Magma Jet on the Pack Rat, which is fine. like because that resolves. But with how Pack Rat works, he still gets to make more.
Yes.
But he's slowly working his way towards a high devotion count. Not Nick those two, because Pack Rat tokens do have a casting cost, which is
Really
very
confusing.
strange.
Really,
really confusing because I've heard many a story of someone killing the original Pack Rat and setting up a Ratchet Bomb, blowing it up, and just going, yeah, those don't die, which is very, very obscure.
It's really confusing that it would work that way.
Yeah. Why does Pack Rat get the help towards devotion, but no other token makers do? How do you think Spectral Procession feels? Huh?
Well, it says make an actual copy of Pack Rat, so I guess it has to copy that as well, but it is definitely not intuitive. I assumed Moto was bugged when I saw it for the first time.
Well, I don't know why you'd assume that.
Usually card functionality is actually quite good on Magic Online. Is our rat getting frisky here?
I could make it into a 3/3 at will. Got 6 mana out there. Wouldn't be surprised to see the rat get frisky, or he's just going to play slowly.
He's not in any rush, so no reason to rush into anything.
Steam Vent's going to come to play tap. Does have a Master of Waves over there, does Yang? I don't know why that didn't come down this turn. What else does he have hiding out over there? Just pass the turn back. Feels like he's trying to represent like a dissolve or something of that nature.
I mean, he does have 2, let me see what he has here. Any counter spells in this list? No, he has some disperses and rapid hybridization. But
okay. Pack Rat activation. In comes to discard the Grey Merchant. Wow. I guess Pack Rat is just that much more important. And only 1 activation as opposed to 2. So now here come the rat tokens.
I think Yang is saying no blocks.
Yeah, not sure if there's a block here or not. We'll see.
Yep, no blocks. Really like this pace of play from Tom here, just, not rushing
I like the fact
anything.
I like the fact that he's not rushing it. I thought here's a Porphyros. And I see actually what Yang is trying to set up here, which is Porphyros into Master of Waves for a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
3 mana, discard. See if he's going to move in some more or not.
I think he has a Grey Merchant left over in his hand, so I think I'd be surprised to see Tom doing some math here.
Yeah. So he can make another rat at the end of turn 2, and he would have 5. He would have 4 4/4s, and then the next one he makes with the card that he draws would give him 4 attacking 5/5. So let's attack for 20. Grey Merchant would make it 22. So he's really close. That last card, Hero's Demise? Or Hero's Downfall?
Yes. I imagine it has to just be much more damage as a rat than as a kill spell. So.
Yeah, I think he's thinking about killing the Tidebinder Mage to remove Devotion 1 and get his 3/3 back. Yeah, and that's what he's gonna do. So now his I think that's a Frog Lizard untaps. And he can turn everything sideways, make another rat, and add more power to his board. And it looks like he is going to turn them all sideways because now Yang is forced to block. I think what he's doing right now, and we know that Tom is very deliberate and meticulous and whatever word you want to use for his pace of play, but he just wants to make sure because he's in the driver's seat right now that, Porphyros represents something. You don't know exactly how he can go about killing you with Porphyros because Yang's deck is a little different, but he wants to make sure that, hey, I don't want to, step on some landmine here that I could have played around otherwise.
Yeah. It's a really good habit to get into when you feel like you're in a really commanding position in a game, to go over what are the things that I could lose to here and how do I prevent that from happening. And I think even though Tom obviously has been way ahead of this game the entire time, he still respects the fact that Yang could kill him out of really nowhere.
Yeah. Even though he is sitting at 14 again, he just wants to make sure that I don't somehow fumble this game away, because if he loses this game, it's 2 losses and basically out of top 8 contention, which is not the goal, obviously, for anybody here. See, Yang has a Master of Waves and a Rapid Hybridization in his hand. And I don't think either of those cards will get him out of this situation because I think Pack Rat is just too much to overcome. But he is going to tap 4 mana. He's going to deploy Master of Waves. So there's a trigger from Porphyros here that goes in the stack, and then there'll be 2 elemental tokens. So it'll be 6 damage going upstairs. Going to knock Martell down to 8. And yeah, I think he's going to go discard.
Yep.
Yeah. I think he's showing, okay, so if you block my 4 Pack Rats, I get in for 5 points of damage, and you're sitting at 5. Yep, so that is going to do it. So Tom Martell, Pro Tour Gatecrash champion, does defeat Song Yang 2-1. Mono Black Devotion defeats Base Blue with a little split of Splash Devotion. Martell moves on to 4-1. I take
Recovering
that back.
nicely.
Round 5.
Recovering nicely from a round 1 defeat.
Yeah.
We had him on camera in round 3 and now on round 5, and looking to put up yet another top 8 with this particular build of this deck. Not that Tom himself top 8 at Albuquerque, but this list was very heavily featured in that tournament.
Yeah, the 2 guys who made top 8 did it okay that weekend. Paul Rietzel and Owen Turtenwald.
And I think that you can say that Sperling sort of has a
you call it a virtual top 8?
Yeah.
Don't you want to call that?
Yeah.